Here's what we're doing now. I'm asking you, by the way, you can send me a text message on this. How close will you cut it at the airport? Because more and more people are testing their luck. It's called airport theory. It dares travelers to arrive just 15 minutes before their flight boards. The idea is to skip the long wait by checking in online. You pack light, and then you get there, and then you pull, hey, my flight's in 15 minutes. They let you through. Maybe you've got the Nexus, and you just get on the plane. Now, I know I can't stand when I get to an airport like a schmuck 2 hours before the flight, and I actually get through security and everything in 15 minutes, and then I just sit there for an hour and 45 minutes. Now, Al sent me a text message, says, it depends where you're traveling, Canada, U.S., but Al just says he does the standard, an hour in Canada before, overseas 2 to 3 hours. Well, Al, you're not cutting anything close. That's the standard, isn't it? Let's find out what John Gradek thinks about this. Of course, he knows the insides and outsides of aviation, as he is in the Faculty of Integrated Aviation Management at McGill. John, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Elias.
What's the closest you've ever cut it?
14 minutes.
You got to the airport 14 minutes before a flight?
Yep.
Whoa.
But I have to tell you, it's all a question of when you did this. I used to do this before 9/11, before the security. I parked the car, run through the Dorval Airport. Gate 1 was my flight. So coming in at the first door entrance and then rushing down to catch the flight. 14 minutes is probably as close as I ever got to departure time.
Must be such a great, fulfilling experience to do that, I imagine.
But people are trying it today, and let me tell you, it's for the adrenaline junkies. It really is. It's something that, you try it, and then if you make it, you have to know the airport. You have to know the airport structure, and you have to know where the gate is. If you're going out of Trudeau Airport and you're over at gate 76 or gate 77, that's a 15-minute walk just to get from security to the gate. So you got to be really careful in terms of understanding where your flight is and making sure they don't change the gate on you as you start walking towards the wrong gate.
Is technology changing some of this? Because, last year I flew quite a bit when I was on my big U.S. trip. And I remember being at the New Orleans airport, brand new airport. It's glorious. It's a stunning airport. And they have all the latest and greatest new technology. When you're going through security, they scan your face. And then once they've scanned your face, it's pretty much smooth sailing. And the machines for your bags, for your carry-on, it's the super duper deluxe new machines. You take nothing out. There's no taking out your laptop or anything else. You leave everything in the bag and it scans it all. So is technology making cutting it close easier?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think that, you go to airports. I was in Dubai a few months ago, and it was amazing. Facial recognition, through security, even through the boarding process. You don't talk to anybody. And I think that's a kind of a leftover from COVID when we wanted to keep people away from touching things and having human interaction, that the industry has really progressed its technology of a hands-off process at the airport to new lengths. So I think that you'll see more and more of that technology show up. But, there's a bit of a problem. The airports are getting bigger. The airports are getting more and more commercial space. And guess what? When you go into the airport wants you to shop, wants you to spend money at the airport. They don't want you to run through the airport to get on an airplane. Their objective is to get retailers and to get other shops in there so that you do spend time shopping. So that's where it gets to be a bit of a dichotomy in terms of, what are you doing going to an airport and just rushing through it, or you're going to spend some time relaxing and, as you did, shopping for an hour and a half.
So I'm all about happy mediums, right? I think 15 minutes is insane and just asking yourself for pain, right? When you can't get through or you miss your flight. I also think the 3 hours, I've done it, because there have been times where, I have to return a rental car or whatever it is. So I built in a lot of time, and then you just sit there like a schmuck for 3 hours. I know there's stuff to do, but you still feel like a schmuck. What's the happy medium? Well, moderation is the key to happiness in life, they say. So what's moderation here, John?
Well, you gotta know your airport. Like at Trudeau Airport, it isn't bad. An hour for domestic flights should do it. 2 hours for international flights should do it. But should is the operative word. 95% of the time you'll make it. 5% of the time, oops, you're going to get stuck in a lineup, or you're going to stuck with communication failures, IT failures, all kinds of stuff that can and do happen. So an hour domestically, 2 hours internationally is probably the right number to use when you're going to the airport, particularly at ADM. 15 minutes, you take your chances.
Yeah, seriously. Sarah sends us this note. I once got to the gate during the final boarding call. Wow, not on purpose, she adds. I don't enjoy the airport, so I plan to spend just enough time not to be rushed, but not so much that I'm hanging out. Out of Trudeau, she plans for an hour and a half, 2 hours for international or U.S., 1 to 1.5 hours for domestic. John, on that technology front, I told you about New Orleans Airport and there's others. Detroit Airport's similar. There's all the newfangled airports are doing this. Do you think the future of airport travel is we scan you, we scan your eyes, we scan your body, and it's a much easier, as long as you're willing to give up the privacy stuff, you're going to have an easier time?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the industry, the aviation industry, wants to make sure that people are comfortable. They don't have to unpack stuff and take shoes off and take belts off to go through security. I think that, we're talking about, inbound from international flights, that whole process at Canada Customs, is getting much more automated as we speak. So there's a lot of technology coming at us, whether it's facial recognition, whether it's body scans, whether it's retinal scans. If you are okay with that information hanging around somebody else's computer, you should have a pretty good system going through the airport.
John, Jerry, he's telling me on the text line that now, lately, security has been giving him the full body scans. He doesn't know why. His wife is going through no issues, but they're giving him the 10th degree here. What do you think Jerry's up to?
I don't know. There must be something in Jerry's face that's kicking off some alarm buttons. I'm not sure, Jerry. I'd be careful where you hang out at the evenings.
Yeah, Jerry's up to no good. I just know it. Okay, thanks, John. Be well.
All right, Elias. Take care.
Keep those comments coming, 514-790-0800. Let me know what's the closest you've ever cut it. I'll say this, for a train. I didn't do this on the plane, but I remember via rail, Montreal to Toronto, I showed up to the train station, Gare Centrale downtown, and they had already removed the plank that you walk, right? The little thing that you walk on to get on the train. They had to put it back down for me. I walked on the plane, and then the train took off literally seconds later. It was exhilarating, I tell you. When we return on this program, think your relationship status only matters on Facebook? Think again. Your love life could be costing or saving you big during tax season. That's next.